scrolling through the remote and you see something you want to watch. But you see it and you're like, I don't want to watch it now, but I'll watch it later. Mm-hmm. It was called UFO Crash Site or something. It was like UFO something. I couldn't remember the name. But I was like, that would be awesome for late night. Because I like UFO shit. UFOs crash, I'm there, front seat. It was around later on that night, about 11 o'clock at night. You're sleeping, I'm looking for something to watch, and I'm like, what was that thing called? What was it called? I couldn't remember it. And I remember that moment in Dumb and Dumber when the girls come up in the van, and then he turns them down, and then he says,
"Do you realize what you've done?"
I said that out loud, yeah. Do you realise what you've done? And I never found it again.
Oh.
Maybe once everything gets packed away, it'll get easier. It won't be the constant reminder.
Talked about the nasty 80s/90s haircuts. And remember when we watched Wonder Woman? Mm-hmm. And she's in the 80s and everyone else around her has got all the 80s aesthetics, but she doesn't look like she's from there. She looks like she's got a modern haircut.
Yeah. The fashion for her was like modernized 80s. Like what we would be wearing is like a throwback to the 80s now.
I can't get it down.
Come on, bro.
That was kind of lame.
That was like 80s horror movie.
Yeah. That's like Michael Myers, the bodies come swinging out of the closet.
Yeah.
Kind of lame.
Look, at least tell us the time and mode of transport. That might help us determine why the bodies haven't cooled. Hey, you guys called us down here. You want some answers, you gotta give some.
You bring Mulder and Scully down. You bring them in to offer their advice, and you don't say anything, and then you leave them with more questions than answers. Way to pique their interest.
What was the point of that?
I have X-files. Each case has an element of what we saw tonight. Residual electrostatic charge, internal mutilation without any corresponding external causality. But none has all the elements combined in one case.
Now, how can an esophagus be crushed without the neck ever being touched?
Psychokinetic manipulation.
I think Mulder would be really good at a party. You bring him in, and things get quiet. That awkward moment where things are just like, you're at dinner party, no one knows what to say, and then you're just like, Mulder, say something. What about those X-Files, eh? And he goes on and on.
I won't let you leave, Lorne.
What's wrong?
Here's my theory so far. So, someone close to her has died. We don't know who. But I'm thinking that person is like a ghost. And they're like behind them moving shit. Like Ghost Dad.
Bill Cosby. And you've never seen him before. Ghost Dad.
Have you ever seen this person before?
Two things. Either she's got like a Patrick Swayze type ghost, looking after her, or the grief of losing someone has unleashed some kind of untapped telekinesis potential.
Cool.
What would you move if you had telekinesis?
I'd shove people.
Shove people? Yeah, I would too. In front of cars.
Dark.
I would make light switches going off like this. Mm-hmm. See? Your reaction doesn't suit the magic that I just did. That's what I would do. I would exercise with telekinesis. so that I wouldn't have to move my arms. I'd just go like, okay, I'm going to exercise now. And my mind would do the job for my body. So my mind would make my arm move. Like, or I could just be lazy. Or my mind can make me lift weights. I could just be lazy. See?
She knows who the other person in that photo is.
She's packing, running away. From what?
What's happening? What the hell's going on?
Realistic scenario. You're Scully and I'm Mulder, and we're in the car, and then that just happened. You're the skeptic. Would you believe?
Well, I would want rational explanations.
Yeah, but you've just sat there in the car and you've watched the doorknobs go down and lock, and then the car start on its own in reverse. Surely you must be like, there's something screwy here.
Yeah.
That would convince me right away.
Excuse me, sir? Is there an office where I can get some information on those people?
Who? I attend every funeral. I'm the last person to see them put to rest.
Very convenient.
I mean, yeah, it's not a very sophisticated story, is it?
No. The guy with all the information, the Wikipedia of cemeteries is right there when you need him. It's not got me. You know when there's a hook in the fishing line and it gets you?
Needs more monsters.
I'm still waiting for some bait here.
It's a very X-Files plodding along.
It's very, it's another level, another speed that you get used to.
Yeah, no. Bing. Ba-ding.
I know that we don't know what's happening, but my problem is I don't care what's happening.
That's Howard Graves. He's alive.
Not necessarily.
This is a problem I've got with TV shows like this. They've got a story, right? And they've got a limited amount of actors they can hire for this story. If the story involves murder, it's going to be a very small amount of people who did it. It's like watching Murder, She Wrote, and then there's a murder and Jessica Fletcher's trying to get to the bottom of it, and there's only 2 people, and you're like, oh, it's that person, because they did one of these, they reveal something in the camera that the camera focuses on. So if the murder weapon is a cup of tea, and they've got their cup of tea, it focuses in on them drinking tea. And they'll say something as well. They'll be like, oh, I just love my tea in the morning. I always have to drink my tea in the morning. And then the murder scene will have like tea on the ground. Anyway, we'll see what happens.
It's poetry.
I entered the room not 30 seconds after the security men broke in the door. You could still smell the gunpowder. And that door was bolted shut from the inside. No way anyone could have killed him.
Of course Scully wasn't there.
We were following leads pertaining to an X-File.
I want to know every detail of your activities concerning this case.
What case? You're the ones who've been withholding information. Why don't you tell us what you've got?
This is terrible.
Wait. We believe HTG Industrial Technologies sold restricted parts to the Isfahan.
Partial serial numbers from their manifest were recovered in the wreckage of the July bombing of a Navy transport van.
There's like a stalemate, and then they're like, hang on, and then they just like...
People always do that in TV shows and movies. They always stop before they open the door and say something. I've never stopped at a door to say something before. Never.
It's pretty dramatic.
Fuck it. immediate thoughts. The X-Files episode something with the ghost.
I was bored.
Oh boy. It wasn't good, was it? That was the worst one I've seen.
Pretty boring.
Oh boy. And I say to myself, is it boring or is it just me having no patience? And then I've decided that it's just boring. It doesn't matter how old something is, it needs to be entertaining and engaging, and that wasn't. Something about weapons being sold. Ghost, former boss, is murdered. He wants to get his own back by showing where the evidence is and hanging around his secretary.
And Scully remains a skeptic because she missed all of the paranormal stuff.
It's like, she's just outside. She's just behind Mulder when the weird shit's going on. The door's locked. She can't get in there.
I love how desensitized Mulder is. He doesn't even discuss anything that he's seen or witnessed or it's just another day.
It's like, nah, we're not going to discuss in the car the ghosts that held the man up and you saw it, or the paper spinning around and the ghost showing you the evidence inside the wall.
You're just like, yeah.
Fuck off.
Makes sense.
I would give that episode a mediocre. And actually, mediocre is a 5 out of 10, right? No. That is a below par. That is a 4 out of 10. So there.
Condemned.
You?
4.
4. We agree? Agreed. Let's try something else.
Okay.
I don't know what it is, but the next episode will tell us what it is. Yeah.